Before we get into this week's vlog, I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Dustin. I'm autistic. I'm in my 30s, and I just share every week what a little bit of what life is and how my life is, and a little bit of help that maybe can help somebody else along life's journey. It's been a pretty challenging week. We've had a lot of issues with family, being unwell, and I'm hoping that, through the grace of God and everything, that things will get better this week. So without further delay, we're going to go ahead and switch into this week's vlog. Thank you. Greetings, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. It's been a very challenging week since the last time I've been on here and talked to you, but we're making things better today. We're making a better trend. We're moving forward from the mistakes we made in the last week. And part of what those mistakes were, or things, when things get challenging, is sometimes, and when we talk about being autistic and why do meltdowns start, or why are we more dysregulated, in a sense that it can be hard to pinpoint the cause of why why autistic people are feeling the way they do, or how they feel, or what's the culprit behind them reacting in a way that they do. Sometimes we don't know completely, and sometimes for people who are non-speaking, or have trouble communicating, that's not particularly there's hard ways of finding out, why there's meltdowns, or why you have dysregulation, or whatever that may be, that causes the autistic person to feel uncomfortable, uneased, dysregulated. And sometimes, it's a cause and effect. And I may not realize it. I might not see it myself, even though I'm speaking and I'm well astute, and I figure out why am I feeling this way? And even though I may not want to believe it, or I may not want to hide it, there's a lot of things that go into play when you have a cause and effect situation. And that's many times what happens when we're talking about autistic people. There is a reason behind, there's many reasons behind, when there's a negative reaction, there's a meltdown, an autistic person becomes dysregulated. There's many reasons behind that. But for the most part, it's finding out what that is. If there's too much stimuli, or there's a discomfort in the autistic person that they may not know about, or there's just a number of factors that go into it. Have they been able to be hydrated? Have they used the restroom? Have they had something to eat? And for the most part, in myself, I do recognize that. Sometimes it's a whole encompassing thing. Like, honestly, if you don't take care of yourself in the way that you need to, such as following routines. I'm pretty good on the medicine, but when I look back at all those times that I did not take my medicine, I do realize that that a lot of the issues that I had in myself stemmed from not doing so. And as a result, it made me realize, why it's important to take my medication each day and always. Now, granted, not everybody takes medication, and it's always hard to find, the right mixture. And granted, I've been on a very good cocktail for over 20 years now, and that seems to have helped. But, when you don't do that, when you don't do what you need to do to take care of yourself, there's always that reason of why there's things that happen, such as a meltdown, being dysregulated, having a negative reaction to something. It's not so much that you don't know if it's going to happen. That's the thing. You can say, "Oh, I'll be fine. I don't need this, that, or the other thing to be regulated. I don't need to not take my medicine. I can drink all the caffeine I want." All of those things can point out to a fact that you think you don't need it, but it can be one simple thing in the cause of the day that can cause that you may not even know about. And as autistic people, we don't like change, and change is hard to accept. And that alone can be the one thing that can start the cause and effect process of where you feel that you don't you need that can start the ball rolling and see that you're very dysregulated. And when one thing tops on top of another, until the autistic person reaches their breaking point and they can't take not one more thing, then it all comes out, and it's very hard to get back into rhythm. For me, it's very hard to get back into rhythm once I had my breaking point. And I'm already elevated, and I'm already in a sense of I just want to be angry, and I want to take my anger out on someone because I'm feeling angry in a very angry way because I'm not regulating myself in the way that I need to. And it just there's just too much energy there, and you need to get rid of it. And even if you have help on the other line, really. And I do mean literally. Sometimes it's just not enough. Now, there are instances when I wasn't my best, and, I think of that, and you don't realize, even though you're not, you think, oh, I'll be fine, or this is just something I don't need, or whatever. And then something out of the blue just pops up and happens. Then you're stuck. You're stuck because you're in this window of where you are so dysregulated, and you can't control, you're unable to control yourself and be the person that you can be. And even though you don't want to admit things sometimes, and you want to be in this great state of denial about, oh, I don't need this, or I don't need that, or that's not what it is. You know deep down that's what it is, and that's what solves the problems. And you have to look at everything, and know the cause and effect of why things happen. Why do things happen? You have to see what causes them. And some people I see, online, they look at certain ingredients in food or things like that. For me, I've been on caffeine for over a year now. And it really, I think things are a little more better. I mean, they're not all 100. I mean, we don't really know wholly what what it really looks like. I don't know wholly what it really looks like, but I know it's better than where I was. I know that from drinking Coca-Cola every single day in great masses that my body is doing better, even though it may not be shown by a number. I know physically, it's doing way better effect. My body is feeling 100 times better than what it did before because of it. I can actually function in the world. Um, you know, you don't understand, I don't think, until you realize how things really affect you. And either, by eliminating something or having something in there, what that cause and effect can do to the regulation factor within, your autistic self, that it really does affect everything. You don't look at everything, but part of you does, and you think, well, maybe that does affect me. Maybe that does, maybe that's why I do XYZ, because XYZ is what keeps me going. And you may not think you need XYZ, but you do, because like I have learned this past week, if you don't do XYZ, then things come up and things cause you to be dysregulated, and then you're just spiraling out of control. And when things get really bad and you reach your breaking point, and you think, or I think, that I want to do things that I shouldn't be doing. I really shouldn't. And, I shouldn't be reacting in that way. And it causes a lot of grief and a lot of distress, especially to those that love us the best. And I mean, Granted, graciously, they've been there through it all. But there's a point with everything going on in my life. You know, there's only going to be so much that it's going to happen, and they're going to break, and they're not going to be there for me. And some, even though they know they think I think they have to, or I think that that's just what they do. There's going to be a point when they're going to break down, and it's just not going to be a reality anymore. And even as hard as that can be to grasp and understand, you have to understand that there's a reason behind why you do XYZ, because XYZ is what helps you stay well. And if you are lying about it or you're not being honest about XYZ, then you only have yourself to blame for why you're acting in a way. But even if it is, sometimes you may need help, and that's something too that I think I heard on another podcast. That's the one skill when you're living independent is knowing how to ask for help. And I'm not 100% there, I don't think. I'm good at it when I can be, but I think sometimes it's hard. It's a skill that you need. And I saw another podcaster had that, that it was the number one skill that you need, or you're not gonna be able to thrive. And if you're not going to be able to thrive by not putting the issues that you're burdening yourself with to rest by asking for help and getting things done in the way that they need to be done, then that's on you, because you're living this battle that oftentimes nobody knows about. And there is help out there, despite what you may not want to believe. There is help out there. It may not be the help that you can get today, but there are things out there in the interim that you can get that are helpful in a way. And it's challenging sometimes, because there's a hard thing to do, of understanding, well, you know, maybe I feel this way because I feel ashamed of myself because I have to do that. And sometimes, breaking down your pride is to get help or to ask for help is very hard. And I will say that as a male person, it's very hard just to break down and say, okay, I need help with my mental health or help with whatever, if it's something around the house or just something, or keeping in line, whatever that might be. You have to be brave enough to ask for help. And, you know, it may seem petty, it may seem hard, it may seem challenging, it may seem like you're selfish or you're weak or whatever. There's a lot of feelings that go into that, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't do what you need to do to get on the right track. And part of that is asking for help. But if what is preventing you from asking from help is the cause and effect that is going on, then if you need help to prevent said cause and effect, then you need to ask for help. If it's really bothering you in a sense that it's preventing you from being your best self, then you need to do the right thing. And even if you're educated, it may seem like, even though, I may have issues, and I may look a perfect person from the surface who can articulate and communicate. I still have my own issues too. I technically have an intellectual disability. And for a long time, that was hard to digest too, because, I didn't want to believe that. I didn't believe I belonged with what I wanted to say was those people. But when you look at things about yourself and you live in denial, that doesn't help you either. And I was living in a denial about that for a very long time. But, today is a new day. We're moving forward, and we're going to work on things. If we feel that, if I feel, and if anyone feels they need help, then they reach out for it. And I think also, the fact of the matter is you have to take advantage of those resources. You just can't look at them and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling, and I just put up with it. I think hiding, things and not being honest isn't helping either. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, then you have to find something like a warm line or something like that to help you get through, the tough times. So, that's what I feel it is. But ultimately, it's understanding, why the cause of things and what the effect it has on people, not only yourself, but everybody else. And, you're looking at why are you acting this way? Or why are you reacting in this manner? Why are you having maybe a meltdown? Maybe why are you having you're having these issues? And then you're looking at what is that? And once you know what that is, then you have to realize this, not by doing or not doing whatever is causing that, what is that effect having on not only yourself, but on those around you and those that support you and those that are around you, and how challenging that must be not only for you as a human being, but for those around you. And sometimes you have to say, now darn it, that's enough, and stop playing these games, and you have to move on in life, because there's only so much one person, whether that's yourself or somebody that's supporting you or somebody that loves you, there's only so much that they can take. And when they have reached their point, and it's too late, and it's going to be too late, and it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging. But, every day when you have a mental health challenge, or you're autistic, or you are neurodivergent, there's always going to be a battle that you're going to have to fight. And it's tough. There is no such thing as easy autism, as they say. And it's always going to be a challenge, but you have to be strong. And I am strong, and I've been very resilient. But sometimes it's the simple things that you don't see that can really make all the difference and really be a positive thing if you let them be, or if you are willing to do what you need to do to thrive when you live independently, such as myself. And again, if you didn't have what you thrived and you needed help, you know, um, I think that's the thing. If you need to ask for it if you need. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop there. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to these videos. I want to thank the new subscribers that keep coming in. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Pinterest. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web. That handle is www.dustinsdynastyusa.com. And lastly, all my links are in a link tree. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you for listening. Let's have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy that fall weather. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.